The General Services Administration issued a memo back in February that affects all civil federal agencies. The memo intentionally removes a key provision from federal contracts, the one that explicitly bans segregated facilities in workplaces tied to government contracts. Now, I want to show you the memo, and here it is. It specifically directs agencies that when issuing new solicitations or contracts, do not include any of the following provisions and clauses. One of them now being prohibition of segregated facilities. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, did they just bring back segregation? No, not exactly. But what they did is to direct agencies to remove the rule that specifically says contractors can't separate workers based on race. And you know what that means? It means the official stance is now we're not saying you should segregate, but we're also not saying you can't. You're welcome to do whatever the heck you want to do. So let's break this down in plain, simple English. This does not mean segregation is suddenly legal again. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 still exists. It's still illegal to discriminate based on race in hiring, housing, and public accommodations, right? But here's the real issue. Removing this rule from federal contracts means that companies working with the government are no longer explicitly required to ensure their facilities are integrated. They can do as they wish. And let's be real. If history has taught us anything, that's that if you give certain people even an inch to bring back the old days, they will run a mile with it.
Greetings from the east to north to south. In this wicked-ass place. The topic, the benefits of segregation. The questions, why you think blacks would benefit greatly from segregation? Let's get into it. I'm your host. I am the one.
If we went back to segregation, I want you to think for a minute. Now, if we went back to segregation, will black people actually benefit? Will our lives become better here in America if we revert back to segregation? I want you to first think about desegregation. During the Martin Luther King era, when desegregation took place, did we benefit or did we not benefit? Think about it for a minute. The black-owned businesses, boom, gone. Everything that was black, even the baseball league, they call it the Negro League back then, boom, gone. All of this integration. When integration took place, black ownership went kaput. It was no more. And you got Donald Trump in office, and the things that he is doing is really no surprise to me. As a matter of fact, I'm glad he's in office. When you get a clown like that in office, it makes black people think. If you go down party lines, if you're a Democrat, it would have been the same old, same old. But with this guy in office, we clearly see he don't like us. If you look at his cabinet, pure white. That's the reason why I'm glad he's in office. One thing we must really do is wake up. We have nobody on our side. Nobody. It's just that simple. Now, I took the liberty to write down a couple things that I think we will truly benefit from. Voting. We give our vote away for the past 50 years to the Democratic Party. What did we benefit? Nothing. Boom. Zero. So now if segregation is brought back, we will have something for our vote. Uh, Kamala Harris said, no, no, I just won't do nothing for just black people. She made that statement. Now, if segregation is brought back, you must produce something for a vote that has faithfully been given to you for 50 years. Boom. Number one, we'll benefit. Education. Education. We will become more educated simply because of the fact that if we are segregated, we don't have to be forced to learn bullshit. Bullshit like Christopher Columbus, you know, bullshit that our history only started with Martin Luther King. All of those things will be gone. If they don't want, like down in Florida, for instance, they don't want black history taught, fine. If we segregate it, we can teach what we want to teach. You know, we can get rid of Christopher Columbus and those lies that we was told for years. And we can jump over to religion. Let's segregate everything straight down the line. White man Jesus, boom, gone. That's another lie that this good Christian white man has told. Is he here? Is he here today? Hold on. Here he comes. This man right here, you know, white man Jesus, gone, totally gone. Bring back segregation if you want to. There will be a great benefit for black people. Sports. Who in their right mind will continue to send their children to white schools, especially if he's an athlete? They make so much money off of black athletes. Of course, now the system has begun to change a tad bit, where black males can market themselves better in college and make some money. But now we can realize that I don't have to go there. It is what it is. So who will benefit and who will not benefit from that alone? We can clearly see who the enemy is if we segregate. You don't want us to drink out of this water fountain? Fine. You don't want us to work here? Fine. There will be a proliferation, a steady growth of black new businesses. There will be a steady growth simply because you don't want us in your business, which is fine. So you tell me who would really benefit. So what this president is doing right now is something he don't understand himself, because you will not benefit. I seen on a video where Elon Musk was crying. This same man took away 80, 90, 100,000 jobs. No big deal. He could care less. No sympathy, no empathy, zero. But when his Tesla stock began to fall, now he bring on the tears. Now he understand what it feel like. This is the same thing with segregation. You're going to find out the anchor of this whole economy here in America is black Americans. You're going to find out the hard way. So bring on segregation. That's fine. Let me go to the next clip.
I don't agree with the moderator nor Reverend Robinson that we want some kind of agreement. We want agreement by which we can live or die. You choose. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. Should you try to pretend that I'm crazy because I want America to be saved? And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Again, you're going to roll back the 1964 bill, and you expect us to care? Seriously? Are you serious? You have denied us the right to live. Basic living conditions, basic things. And your sorry butt going to say you're going to roll back the 1964 Civil Rights Bill as if we care, and you deny us the basic right to live? Are you serious? Nobody cares. One thing I want you to do, I want you to notice the look on these people's face. I'm going to roll this thing back. Look at the look on their face. A concerned look, but in reality, not a care in the world. I'll be back.
Should you try to pretend that I'm crazy because I want America to be saved? And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
You honestly think anybody in that audience, any of these people in that audience, care less? They could care less. In the 1600s, they could care less. They could care less right now. Simply care less. You are your ancestors. One of the brothers in the next clip, it's a real quick clip, but he's going to make a statement that although you fought in every single war and you came back home to absolutely the same treatment.
Now, you get this straight. You can kill all the black folks you want to, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought in every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing.
It's totally unbelievable. So when they make the statement that racism is dead, you are your ancestors. Or they will make a statement that, well, I had nothing to do with that. No, you are the same. There has been no change. It has been passed down from generation to generation. Next clip.
We're joined now by DEI labor attorney Jason Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz, thanks so much for joining us. First, just want to ask your initial reaction to the scope of the executive order and the employees placed on leave.
Sure. So nice to be with you. The scope of this order is huge. Really dramatic change, not only for government contractors, but for all private sector corporations.
And Trump notably revoked the executive order signed by LBJ back in 1965, which prohibited discriminatory practices in employment decisions for federal contractors. What sort of immediate impact could we start to see?
So the president, as you said, revoked the 1965 executive order from President Johnson and has flipped the requirements so that government contractors now have to agree not to engage in any sort of DEI program that has a preference based on race or gender. So not only do they get rid of their affirmative action programs, but they have to agree not to engage in certain DEI practices. That's a complete reversal. The OFCCP is now ordered to immediately cease its enforcement efforts under the 1965 Civil Rights Program. And instead, contractors agree, again, that they cannot engage in any kind of preferential DEI programs. And the order suggests that that will be enforced not just by the federal government, but that private citizens are going to be deputized to bring what are called False Claims Act actions in order to enforce that government contractor requirement.
Now, the White House said that the executive order demands departments and agencies take strong action to end DEI policies in the private sector as well, and that the Attorney General should also encourage the end of DEI in the private sector. What could those actions look like?
So, Lindsay, the most dramatic thing about that is the president literally asked the heads of every federal agency to provide a list of 9 targets against whom they will initiate investigations and potential litigation to challenge private sector diversity programs that they believe are unlawful. So each agency is going to be on the hunt for, and it's the mission is find the biggest whales you can. The executive order says look for large publicly traded corporations, large employers, large foundations, and send these lists to the White House so that the agencies can initiate investigations and litigation. I think that's going to be a substantial enforcement effort in the private sector, challenging lots of DEI programs at many, many companies.
Leading up to Trump's second term, we saw a number of large corporations begin to roll back their DEI policies. Do you think that more companies will continue to follow suit?
Very much so. No one wants to be on this list of 9 companies. So I think part of the intended effect of this order is not only to find big companies to make an example of, but to scare everybody else into rolling back their programs.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you so much, Mr. Schwartz. Really appreciate your insight. And this just in, sources tell ABC that employees across the federal government today received memos asking them to report any possible DEI programs.
You know what? You must ask yourself why. Why are you doing this? Why? You surround yourself around a bunch of millionaires. And then let's go up a step. You surround yourself around a bunch of billionaires. You are around money. Why do you look back on the poor and decide to punish them? Why? You the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's why. There is no need to do this. If any of you out there work a job and you really want to be honest, who works in the office and who do the hard labor? Honestly, anybody watching this video, you will know that we're doing the hard labor. There is no need to impose or retract the 1964 Civil Rights Bill. There's no need for it because this man don't follow it no how. He hires who he want to hire. There's no need for this. So why do you have to do that? Why? There's no pressing need. Why do you have to do it? There was a story in the Bible. King David. King David could have had as many women as he wanted, but he took the wife of Uriah, the Hittite. There is no need for him to do that. Any woman that he wanted, he could have had. Although David repented of his sins. But you know what happened? Look it up. You know what happened. When you do evil, the Most High is watching. Thank you for watching. I'm your host. I am